Now Texas Joe, LWA Legacy is coming up. And one of the biggest matches on the card is Madness versus Madness. What do you think that match means, not only to the fans, but also the LWA?
Well, as I understand, the original Madness, who's been wrestling for the longest time, is taking on Madness, that representing Laredo. Honestly, to be honest with you, I think Madness from Laredo stole the gimmick. And if I had to bet money, I would bet money on Madness, the original Madness, to come kick his butt all over South Texas. See, I don't care about Madness. I've never liked the bum. So honestly, he's been ducking me. So I hope Madness takes him to the barn behind the woodshed and kick his A double crooked letter. To me, he stole this gimmick. He's not original, and he should be out of the business.
Alright, we're back. Matt, we were just getting into these bad habits of yours.
The bad habits.
Well, not just of yours, but I guess things that
I eat too much Whataburger. That's one of my bad habits. I'm going to rehab for it.
I tighten the belt for every shoot.
It's your summer coat.
There you
know,
go.
I know
winter coat.
You know what? I know somebody that works at Whataburger who can get a hookup.
San Antonio, Whataburger. Sponsor me. I wore orange for 2 years. Sponsor me.
Oh.
I love it. Anyways.
Are you done embarrassing yourself?
No, never.
Well, no. I don't want to go too much into detail of what some of the bad habits were, but I will say this much. He learned that less is more. You don't gotta kill yourself. Just go out there and remember that there are people watching. You acknowledge those people.
Nonetheless, I almost did kill myself with a dive, but other than that,
yeah.
And again,
there for that show.
Hebbronville, you mentioned, Hebbronville. There was something I mentioned, and the awesome feeling is when he's like, I taught you that. We were talking to the rookies, and I don't remember exactly what I said, but he stopped the conversation. He's like, I taught you that. And I was like, you see, a lot of what you told me, those beatings sunk in, a lot of them.
It's not that
it stayed in there, and a lot of what he taught me, the speeding up, and I think that's everything that's everybody's problem, and especially people coming in, is the speeding up, wanting to do so much. And if you're a beginning match, 10 minutes, whatever, you want to fill in everything you can because you want to get recognized, when in actuality it's the impact, it's quantity over quality, other way around, quality over quantity. You don't have to put 300 moves in 10 minutes for it to mean anything.
You can tell a good story
in a certain amount of moveset, but as long as it means something, as long as you're telling that story that you want to portray and it's done correctly, the people will buy into it, the people will buy it, and the people will pay to see it.
And that's one of the things that I liked about this story, was the fact that people were so drawn into it. If I was going to be there and we were going to do a contract signing, people were into it. And
it was personal.
It was personal.
Yeah.
It was personal because
you'll see some of the videos. You'll see some of the videos in this. Anything that we ever did that had to do like with the contract signing, I got dressed up for it. He stayed in gear, and he kept himself like, I'm one of the people. I'm just like all of y'all.
And here's the thing, we didn't talk about this, but I kind of made it as in, it was San Antonio versus Laredo. We've never had that, and when he attacked me, the way I thought of it was, you're not just attacking me, you're attacking this company, you're attacking my city, you're coming down insulting us. I did go with I'm one of them, no matter what. I remember for that show, I made a shirt that said Laredo made or Laredo born, something like that. And that helped, get the people, they felt as in it was their fight. That I'm fighting for them, And it's the same when I went to San Antonio, and I would insult the San Antonio crowd, and it was kind of hard because I'm sorry, man, the San Antonio fans are tough, but they rallied against him because that's their boy, that's their guy. Even if it's a different company that they don't watch TWA or anything like that, but that's a San Antonio guy, that's my guy. And I think that was fun, that was different. Again, I hadn't done it in the short career that I had at that time. And it was fun, it was awesome, man. That contract signing, I was bad at promos, I probably still am bad at promos. And the minion shaking his head and he can go straight to hell. But I remember I would write everything down, and I remember he told me before that was get cue points and then just build off there. And I don't know what I was gonna say. I had never done a real promo before, and I remember you made a comment in your part of the promo that said, "I didn't even know you existed" or something like that. And at the top of the dome, I pulled the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was to convince the world he never exists. And I don't remember the way the whole promo goes, but I remember as soon as he said that
There's a video clip.
There's a video clip of it, and that came in, and I was like, oh, it just fit perfectly, and it intensified the feud, and like the people, like you can hear that live feed that the fans just get into it a little bit more. So when we come down to the Legacy show, it was made to make money. In other words, it was money. Our annual show is called Legacy. The name of the damn feud was the Legacy of Madness. It was
Perfect.
It was built perfect. We timed it perfectly. It was a slow build. We didn't do it like 2 months before.
I will give Ace credit on that because he knew where he wanted it to take place, and the name Madness riding along with Legacy just kind of coincide, and it kind of made the theme for the show. Mm-hmm. It really made the theme for the show.
I wish I would have brought in the banner. They made a personal banner that said the Legacy of Madness, and it was that big. And my hats off to Ray for that idea. He knew it was going to be a slow burn to where we finally got to it. I think we touched each other in the ring at LWA twice, and they were both battle royals where you would walk out.
And that was the big catalyst right there too. Was the actual first meet, and that was in the battle royal, and it was at the Armory.
Yeah.
And it was a stare down. And that's when everything started coming into play, because we took away from something else that was supposed to happen. But
that battle royal became about us.
It really did, because it was him, me getting him into the corner. He sets up for a tornado DDT, which I try to reverse it by putting him outside of the ring, and he just locks it and chokes me all the way over the top rope, and we go out together, and we fought all the way to the back. And I remember that show because Chavo was on that show. And that's a funny story right there.
That's a very funny story, behind the scenes story, because we don't want to...
I just have this question just to touch on my dear friend, Chavo Classic, because the other Chavo is not too fond of us, but Chavo Classic, hey, how you doing, buddy? Good friend of the Madcast podcast.
So you guys were really, you started by planting the seeds for it, cutting promos and stuff like that, and then you started teasing the audience with these little confrontations, altercations in battle royals. So only one battle royal. So that finally, before we've gotten to Legacy, the audience is already like, I want to see this.
Yeah, because what I was doing was that I was getting under their skin. I was getting under the people's skin. And of course, everybody knows Laredo, Texas. Everybody here speaks Spanish. I don't speak Spanish.
He's Hispanic and he doesn't speak Spanish.
He's one of those!
He's one of those.
Yeah, it's one of those.
My Spanish is terrible.
Can you order off of the menu?
Torta grande, por favor.
You can do that.
I can do that.
Can you?
I can order off of my menu.
Point.
Taco Bell doesn't count as a menu, it has numbers.
Oh my god.
Anyway, back to the story.
But
Un cafecito.
but one of the promos that I would always, and I used it later on once. I used it once when I wrestled for a company called Mexican American Wrestling, I used this one promo where I said, "Listen, all you people of Laredo, Texas, I will not dumb myself down to speak your weird Aztec speaking language, okay?
Wow.
You are over here in America. Even though you're about 2 minutes away, I can just walk over the ring and probably be in Mexico. I am not going to stoop myself and speak your language. You're here in America, speak English. Until then, my promos will be in English." And it was something along those lines. And it would just piss off the people because there was a lot of people there. There were a lot of older folks. And I remember one lady in particular that didn't like me. She was an older lady who drove in from out of town to watch every single LWA show. And it was just so easy to pick her, and everybody else would join in and just start hating me.
Is there any fan that can hate a wrestler more than an elderly woman?
No. They're bred to hate people.
As
horrible that sounds.
When they hate someone, they will single that person out, and it's like that tunnel vision. They see nothing but hatred for that person.
Yeah, because once you get that one, everybody else starts joining in. It's like a collective.
And it's what you look for. I think after that, we ran into each other's matches before our legacy matches.
Yeah.
I cost him a match versus...
At the LWA Cup.
Yeah,
I costed you, and then you costed me in the finals against Bandana Joe, which was actually a very good match of mine.
It was a very good match until I ruined it, right? But I did a show up there, the tag team match that I teamed with.
At the Night of Madness.
We're being cute, but we're going to keep going here. Kiss my ass. We had Night of Madness. We got to cut?
We got to cut. We're going to cut.
Let's go pay the bills, ladies and gentlemen. God damn it.
We'll be right back.
Pause and go, pause and go, pause and go, pause and go.
This is Pretty Boy Ocho from the Laredo Wrestling Alliance, weighing in on the Madness versus Madness situation. There's a Madness in San Antonio, there's a Madness in Laredo. One guy dresses in orange, the other guy dresses in green. I have no idea what's going on. They're not pretty like Pretty Boy Ocho, if you know what I mean. Well, anyway, let me tell you something. Madness from Laredo is gonna take Madness from San Antonio. You can bet money on it, I'll bet money on it. I have the money, so you can count on it.
Cute.
All right, here we go.
We're back. We had to go pay bills. Go. We did the Night of Madness, the very first one, and the first one I was invited to, and it was Madness and Chino.
It was me and Chino versus
me and Gabe the Babe. And if you don't know who Gabe the Babe is, YouTube it. Get to that one of my favorite guys. And
because it was at the time that I had just turned face. I separated from Sensational Sal, and Sal was hell bent on getting his revenge on me and trying to destroy Madness any way he could.
And Sal was my manager, and a very beautiful manager, by the way. And I remember I was nervous to hell because that was my first match. Not working with somebody I knew. I had heard of Chino before. Again, Ben helped break me in, and they had done a lot with the Texas Heat, and he wasn't too fond of Laredo wrestlers, and he still isn't, and I understand why, but I was nervous as hell because how I did in that match was going to perceive of how the rest of the Laredo boys were going to be looked at. And again, we talked about that pressure that you add. That's one of them, and I think a great tag team match actually.
It was one of my favorite matches.
It was a fun match. It was the first time I was working heel. That was new to me. Me and Gabe helped me out so much. He led me the right way, and it just picked up. It was a fun match.
Hence the phrase, and if you could put a little logo right there, shut up and listen.
Shut up and listen. If I could tell any new guy anything, shut up, listen, take your damn time. And
it was a good paced match. The crowd enjoyed it, and it's up there with one of my favorite matches.
And I'm gonna, as we're here, and I'm gonna plug in Gabe the Babe. Please come back. From a fan, please come back. Anyways, back to our stuff. To the actual Legacy show. We knew where we wanted to go. We knew the reaction we wanted to get. I think we did that times 10, honestly. Again, if you hear, I know you posted up one match, the match you recorded, and LWA had one recording, or I think I did one of the two. That crowd is just on point with everything that we're doing. The rest of the match was good. The rest of the show was good. The main event sucked. God hate me, I don't care. It sucked. We were the main event. We were the semi-main event, and I think we should have gone main just based off everything else. You know what? It was personal. It was the fans were into it. Again, Prince and Dirty had been done 30 times before that with the same finish, the same story, the same everything. We were something fresh. We were something new. Can you please stop decorating? I'll tell you my story.
That happened.
I was nervous, and I think if you're not nervous before a match, you need to stop, because if you don't get butterflies, there's something wrong with you. That match, electricity, because it was my first meaningful match, as in it meant something. It meant it was going to do something. The waves that it was going to cause later were so imminent because a lot of people had eyes on us. I had people from San Antonio, from the Valley, tell me, "Hey, I'm driving up just to see that match." I had family come in just to see that match because it was name versus name. For a young local guy, that was like, oh my God. And hands down, like I said, I don't think any match is ever perfect. Every match has its bumps. We clicked, and as weird as it sounds, and I hear people say magic happened. What it was magic. It was, again, I had my few mess ups, but it was magic. Everything clicked. The fans got into it. The emotion was just there. So when the finish happened, there was that gasp in the fans, as in, oh, shit. If you don't know by now, I lost the name. But it was that whole, and you can hear it where just people just like, I didn't expect him to lose in his hometown. Like,
Yeah.
Again, people don't see it happen, but if you think about it, if you go down WWE, whenever a hometown guy is booked, they lose in their hometown. Again, I didn't mind losing the name. I knew the respect that it came with it. I knew what I was doing the job for. I knew the benefits were going to outweigh the fact that I was going to lose the name. Again, with the crowd reaction when CJ turns on me.
Yeah, and let me add that CJ Xavier, my co-host on the podcast.
Big Papa.
Yeah, Big Papa. He had drove down to Laredo.
Just to see the show.
Against my wishes to come see the show, to escort him to the ring, only for it to be turned into one of the best double cross that you'll ever see.
Because before that, we had done his show promo, his show. We called in. We did all of that.
Madcast Podcast.
Madcast Podcast. Listen in, call in, listen in, please.
5 people can't be wrong.
5.5, because I know one of them is legally a midget, right?
Probably so.
That cross was awesome. The fans, he walked out with me. That cross, Cowboy Ed. And this leads to the personal issues I had with Cowboy Ed before he left WWE the first time and he came back. We worked well. Injecting him into that feud was magic. He helped cost me the match, and the feud that evolved after that, I've had people tell me and Cowboy Ed's matches were fun because they looked real. They were, and a lot of the punches that we did throw each other were laid on thick because I trust him enough and he trusts me enough that we knew where we were going with it. But back to ours, that ending was just perfect. Like, the ending fit so well. The fans hated him so much because of it. And again, this is the fact that you're losing my mom didn't talk to him until the next night of Madness that she went up.
Yeah.
Almost a year, ladies and gentlemen, that she didn't talk to him because he made me lose my name. And
that's good heat.
That's good heat. Well, and did we use her for the match? I did.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we
she
did.
slaps him.
She slaps you.
Yeah.
Several times.
And here's the shit. I had been working for about 2 years already, and she used to beat the living crap out of me growing up when I was an asshole. and rightly so. She had that Mike Tyson boom uppercut, and I bring in the guy that's kicking my ass, and she does this. Jesus Christ, I can't catch a break. But after that match, and the response from the boys in the bag, the people who saw it, the fellow workers that went to go see it, by all means, that shows that you're doing something right when fellow workers drive down to see your stuff. That's
well, and not only that, one of the things that not many people know is that match was emotionally charged. On the way to that show, I had went to go pick up my partner Josh at the time. His grandmother was in hospice, and I don't think I ever told you this. We were driving. We were already at Cotula, and he got the call that his grandmother passed away. And I was, as much as this match meant the world to me, I was willing to just turn around and go back, but he just kept me. He just said, "No, keep going. Just keep going. I just need to get away from this, at least for a little bit." So we kept going, and this match was his little escape. It really was.
And as much as I love Josh, and he was a fan of what we were doing, he was.
Still is.
But tell me, he's still a fan of what we do, and this feud a lot because of him, because he would egg on the crowd, because again he was the San Antonio guys. So Josh, thank you for everything. Thank you for making them show up. But no, yeah, that match was just emotionally filled, and it's man, I don't want to compare it to anything because we're.
Well, you can't, because it was one of those matches that was one of a kind,
I
especially
mean,
for how it went out.
emotion wise.
Yeah.
When Stone Cold's last match happened, when you know it was happening, that feeling where that's it, that type of emotion. It was that type of emotion that, like, that's it, like this that's it, no more madness.
That was it for Laredo Madness.
That was it for Laredo Madness. That was the end of.
But see,
it wasn't Eric, because it was in 2 years, right? But it was end of that.
But see, what could have happened where certain things could have blossomed from it, it really didn't.
Backstage politics. But we're getting queued out by the Minion, so we'll be back after paying more bills.
Kind of your show.
Come Legacy, for the name for the Madness Legacy, it's gonna be an epic match. I'm gonna take that name and give it the prominence and the greatness that it deserves. I've only been doing this for 2 years. It doesn't take the fact of what I've done to this name. You see it right in front of me. This match means the world to me, and the only way Brother Madness is winning is if he kills me. I don't plan on walking out a loser. I plan on walking out the winner. I plan on taking that name home, having it stay here in the LWA, and making sure that imitation never, ever tries to be like me again.
Back off, poor man Howard Finkel, okay? Where's George at? Georgie? Oh, there you are. For those of y'all that do not know who I am, for the past 7 years of my career, I am Madness, not this imposter sitting right there.
I'm actually standing, by the way.
Just for the record, if you're going to talk to me, at least stand up, okay?
Coming from the guy with the green mohawk, alright?
Now, you've been ducking my request. I've been going to the LWA offices trying to find out what is taking so long. For those of y'all that do not understand what I'm saying, because you probably speak Spanish, go hire a translator, okay? Pipe down, pipe down. I didn't come to fight tonight, though. But we've gone through so many different negotiations There was an Iron Man match. There was the best of 7 series. All these things that were put on the table, and yet you couldn't even agree to one. So I'm wondering when I'm finally going to get my hands on you. Wow, really want to take that from a little girl. So it comes down to this. You and me, mano a mano. I'm going to pose something that's up your alley. Since everybody always says that this man isn't properly trained, he doesn't know what he's doing, he's reckless in the ring, he's going to hurt somebody. Well, you know what? Let me make it easier for you. You and me, to be announced, because I know you have such a busy schedule over there at Home Depot that you work at. So you name the place, you name the time, and you and me will go one-on-one in a no disqualification match. Whoa. First off, lady, if there's one thing I've learned, if you're good at something, don't do it for free.
You mind if I borrow this really quick? I didn't think so. If we're gonna do something, we do it in my place, Laredo, baby. The difference between me and you, besides, you hold more tight, you've been wrestling for 20 years. You know the difference between me and you? Madness is not a character to me. I am Madness. It's not just a character. I don't paint my hair green for a gimmick. This is who I am. And all these people know this. So you wanna come into my place, challenge me, you got it.
No, one more thing, boy. One more thing. One thing that you haven't been taught, you're going to go to school and you're going to be put through a clinic by me. Your professor, your teacher, and soon to be your daddy. So we will see who really earns the name Madness. And that's all I gotta say. Why? Because I have no catchphrase.
Okay, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Point to that. There you go. All right. Well, we were talking about the legacy of Madness. Laredo Madness is no more. Madness from San Antonio has conquered. You had mentioned that more could have come from this, but
There was,
politics, backstage. What exactly?
well, there was a transcending. There was a lot of transcending power going on. The current promoter or the current booker stepped back and allowed anyone to come in.
Let's call it how it is. Ray stepped back so Prince could take over since he had a name to himself. I don't give a shit. Bleep it. I don't give a damn. I kiss my ass. He hindered a lot of what we did, either based off envy, based off self-greed, whatever it was. He didn't like it. His match, play it. It's on YouTube. The crowd wasn't into it because we had just drained them of the emotion that we gave. And after that, we could have done what we had planned.
I mean, there was
5 tag team match, something like that, right?
there was gonna be a 6-man tag because after we had laid.
After Cowboy had put his size 13 on my head and he choked me with the chair. Oops, my ass.
We were gonna in other words, I was intended on finishing off the deed, which is gonna be a lovely concerto. Only to have who was it that interrupted?
My boy JC Valentine again.
Yes.
If you want to come
JC.
back too, bro, like we kind of miss you. But JC does the save, and I think we had spoken about doing a Team Madness versus whatever I was gonna decide to.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a Survivor Series style matchup elimination, and the favor never got returned, and I never liked that. It left a bad taste in my mouth, and even though that I did do it for you one last time when we fought here in Laredo. After that, we never. It was never on a grand scale.
The tournament, wasn't it?
No, it was at the casino.
The casino. Yeah. It was that for the tournament for the United Pier.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. That's it.
Again, watch how you lace words, bro. That's a big
I tried. You're giggling. I'm like, yeah. I was like,
anyways,
keep it together, man.
Yeah, you did the favor in that, but again, I get what you mean that
it never followed. It never followed anything, and it just like okay, here we go again.
It took too long to get back to what we had in October of 2012. It took too long to capitalize back on it because the greatest booker in Laredo history, Prince, decided to feud me with Cowboy Ed. Again, I don't care, bro. You know where I live. I'm not that hard to find. You got a problem with what I say? Part of it is true. He booked me with Cowboy Ed, which was fine because Cowboy was going to be part of the Madness Inc. or whatever they were going to call themselves. You're welcome, by the way.
I had it before you. I can have paperwork.
We're going to do that Survivor Series. Are you done? You good? You good? All right.
Hey, keep going. Don't worry about me.
I don't want you to choke, bro. That's my issue. So I said, you know what? It's going to feed to that Survivor Series match. But that Survivor Series match never came. And again, I don't mind doing the job for anybody because I understand we need to tell a story. I felt he buried me. And it's indie wrestling. Who gives a, you know what? But I think we could have made so much more money in attendance because Legacy, that show we packed.
That was a big crowd.
That was one of the biggest crowds we've had, close to 300 plus. And we could have kept doing that if, again, this sounds like we're bitching, and I'm not bitching, I'm not moaning. It happened. We've done a little bit different, and he's doing great. I'm doing great, but for the company and for the story that we're telling, I think we could have done way more money, and he chose not to go that route because he wanted to stay in the spotlight as champion and as booker, keep defending Dirty Sanchez, which was the same story from the month before, plus the month before, plus the month before. They gave Dirty an appreciation day. They did all of this when all we wanted was matches that fit the story that we were doing.
So to you, the Legacy of Madness match, as Roddy Piper would say, should have been the comma, not the period.
Exactly.
Story.
Yes.
Exactly. You couldn't have said perfect than that. Go ahead.
Because when you have something as special as that type of matchup, you have to set up for a second one, and a
You're
second
in
one.
a third one or a fourth one.
I wanted to take the Mohawk.
You probably could have. You could probably done 3 of them.
Yeah.
All of them could have made sense, and you could have had little matches here and there. Because I was not there every show.
No.
I'm just going to explain that. I was not there every show, but every other show I was there. But the crowd was still following it, and it means something. And no mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
It means something that after a match as big as Legacy, for the crowd to still ask him, when is Madness and CJ coming back, and the promoter's not hearing it, that's when it gets a little aggravating. And I was asking for a while, when am I going to come back? When am I going to come back? And did I get to the point where I annoyed and I kind of blacklisted myself? Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And
What, it took you a year to come back from the last time you were here?
I don't know if I'm officially back yet.
Well, let's pray and hope that he's back officially, because I enjoy working him. But again, he wasn't there every show, but I understood my feud with Cowboy Ed was that filler to when we got back to, because he was one of his boys. So I was like, I get it.
Makes sense.
It makes sense. And me and Cowboy Ed worked matches based off the fact that he's coming back to do this or to do that. And like you said, we could have done 3 big matches. Fantasy booking. The first for the name. The second for his hair. The last payoff, Lose Your Leaves Town. 3 great matches.
Perfect storytelling.
Exactly. But unfortunately, it just fell on deaf ears. And
It fell on God's ears.
And
I'm sorry.
wow. I just want to say that none of the comments and opinions made by that one do not represent Madness. Ringside Radio or the Texas Wrestling Association. For those of y'all that would like to leave a comment or email, please email
do it to me.
mad1@lwwrestling.com.
I don't care.
Mad1 does not.
I do not care. I speak truth because, again,
I find it amazing that the heel is the far more.
right. The heel is the one with the more. The heel is the one with the more conscious than me.
Well, no, because since I am a broadcast journalist with my podcast, I do have to keep neutral and make sure that the door stays open for anybody to come on.
This is all opinionated. My opinion is opinion.
Peach is.
But you could have gone so much. You should have done. So much could have been done. And I know a lot of stuff branded from when you came down.
Yeah.
And however that happened, or whatever miscommunications happened from that, a lot of things blossomed out of that, because not only were you called back just for TWA that one time, you were also brought down for another show, and we actually had. We continued the storyline in San Antonio, and we had a cage match.
If you can zoom in, I had to get that tattoo to cover up a scar that I had where I got caught in the fence. So cage matches are fucking real. Yeah, we got personally called out for that cage match, and
I got a scar right here. It was the best match I ever had in the trampoline ring. Oh wait, sorry. Sorry, wrong
kid and wrong promo.
Wrong kid, wrong promo. We don't be in the trampoline ring.
For those of you who know what we're talking about, that's awesome. That match was awesome. Again, that storytelling was awesome. To be asked to do that, this is, again, will remain nameless for personal reasons.
Now he wants to be renamed.
Because he asked me
like everybody else already.
Can I drop the name or?
Go ahead.
Yes. I'm going to hell. What's the name of the company? G&T Promotions from Brownsville, Macleaod, somewhere down there. The quote that she told me was, "I want you and Madness to do what you did in Laredo to do it in the Valley." God, that sounded nasty, but the same reaction, the same match that we did, they wanted it in the Valley because she was starting up that promotion, and God, Minion, can you shock him? We'll be right back. We'll continue the Valley.
Will you let him?
Okay,
it's too late. He's got it.
You know what? This is the Mad One show. We're gonna change that. Ringside Chronicles, Kiss My Eyes. This is the Mad One, the Madness and the Mad One show. We'll be right back after we pay some sponsors, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
I know I'm living, but this life ain't for me, and I still forever wanna get away, and I will show you that you're wrong, and I still believe there's another way.
Here's the thing. The reason why I want to take the Mohawk away from him